You quit weed, and within a couple of nights, your sleep does not just get worse, it falls apart completely. So you do the obvious thing. You go to the pharmacy, grab a bottle of melatonin, and because you are desperate, you take a big dose, 5 or 10 milligrams. And one of two things happens. Either nothing, you still lie there wired, or you wake up groggy and foggy, feeling worse than before. So you decide melatonin does not work, and you toss it in a drawer. Here is the truth. Melatonin can genuinely help with withdrawal sleep, but almost everyone uses it wrong, in two specific ways. They take far too much, and they expect it to fix the wrong problem. Get those two things right, and it becomes one of the most useful tools you have for the first 2 weeks. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what melatonin does, the dose that actually works, which is lower than you think, and the one sleep problem it can solve versus the ones it cannot. Start with why your sleep broke in the first place, because it explains everything melatonin can and cannot do. THC does two things to your sleep. It suppresses your REM, the deep dreaming stage, and it suppresses your body's own melatonin production. After years of daily use, your pineal gland, the little structure that releases melatonin, has dialed its output way down because THC was doing part of that job for it. So when you quit, you are hit from both sides at once. Your natural sleep signal is running on empty, and your brain floods into REM-rebound. That is the mess melatonin is walking into. So what does melatonin actually do? This is the first thing almost everyone gets wrong. Melatonin is not a sedative. It does not knock you out, it does not shut your nervous system down, and if you are expecting it to hit you like a sleeping pill, you will be disappointed every time. What it actually is a signal. It tells your brain one specific thing. It is dark, it is late, it is time to start preparing for sleep. Normally, your body releases that signal on its own as the light fades in the evening. When cannabis has suppressed that system, supplemental melatonin puts the signal back, and that tells you exactly the one problem it is good for. If your issue is that you lie there for an hour or two with a wired brain because your body has lost track of when it is supposed to feel sleepy, melatonin directly fixes that because it restores the missing time to sleep message. That is sleep onset, and melatonin is genuinely good at it. But if your problem is the other kind, waking up over and over through the night, that is the REM-rebound, and melatonin alone will not touch it, because that requires your nervous system to actually settle down over weeks, not a signal that bedtime has arrived. Knowing which of those two problems is yours is the difference between melatonin helping and melatonin disappointing you. So why does less melatonin work better than more? This is the single most ignored fact about the whole thing, and it is completely backwards from how people use it. The standard doses sitting on pharmacy shelves, 3, 5, even 10 milligrams, are not natural amounts. They are pharmacological doses, far above anything your body would ever produce on its own. And at those levels, melatonin starts working against you. It can actually disrupt your sleep architecture, leave you groggy the next day, and signal to your body that it does not need to bother rebuilding its own production, because a flood is arriving from outside. The dose that actually works is small. The research on this is consistent. Around 0.5 milligram to 1 milligram is just as effective for falling asleep as the big doses, with far fewer side effects. If all you can find is a 5 milligram tablet, cutting it into quarters and taking 1 quarter is a completely normal recommendation from sleep specialists. Less really is more here. Timing matters just as much as amount. Take it about 30 to 60 minutes before you want to sleep, in a dimly lit room, because light exposure after you take it sharply reduces how well it works. And yes, that includes your phone screen. If you want to skip the guesswork on which products are actually low dose and clean, I'll link the melatonin and the valerian I trust in the description, because the dose and the form genuinely matter more than the brand on the front. And what will melatonin not fix? This matters because expecting too much from it is how people end up disappointed and quitting it for no reason. Melatonin will not stop the vivid dreams and the night wakings of REM-rebound, because those are a neurological process that runs no matter what you take. It will not switch off the anxiety that keeps your mind racing at 2 in the morning. And it will not speed up the actual neurological recovery your brain has to grind through regardless. It is a tool for one job: getting you across the threshold into sleep, not a repair kit for the whole system. So pair it intelligently. Valerian root works through a completely different mechanism. It relaxes the nervous system enough to actually follow the signal that melatonin is sending, which is why a lot of people find the two together far better than either alone in those first 10 days. If your sleeplessness is anxiety-driven, something like lavender or CBD is more relevant than more melatonin. And know when to stop. Most people need melatonin most in the first 2 to 3 weeks, and by week 4 or 5, as your natural sleep starts coming back online, many can taper off and find they simply do not need it anymore. Because it supports your own production rather than replacing it, there is no hard dependency risk. But living on it forever is not the goal. It is a bridge across the acute phase, not a permanent crutch. So how do you use melatonin without wasting it? Here's the whole thing in one breath. Melatonin is a signal, not a sedative. It fixes trouble falling asleep, not waking through the night. Take a small dose, around 0.5 milligram to 1 milligram, 30 to 60 minutes before bed, in dim light. Pair it with valerian if you need more, drop the alcohol in the screens, and plan to taper off by around week 4. Used that way, with the right dose, the right timing, and the right expectations, it genuinely helps you get through the worst nights without relapsing. And that is really the whole point, because getting through those first 2 weeks intact is what decides whether this quit actually sticks. If you want the entire structure and not just a sleep tip, the full path through every stage instead of figuring out each night alone, that is why we built the Cannabis Detox Transformation Program. It walks you through recovery in 3 phases: release, resilience, and clarity, with the right tool mapped to the right moment. You will find it at quit-smoking-weed.com, and the link is in the description. Use melatonin as the small, precise tool it is, and let it carry you across the hardest stretch.